Okay, we're here. Hi, Payoff Pitch, exclusively available on the Action Network YouTube channel. Brendan Glasheen with Sean Zerillo, Anthony Dabbundo, two of our very best that cover baseball at the Action Network. We're finally here, everybody. We appreciate you hanging with us with some technical difficulties earlier in the afternoon. Just one game has really, truly got underway. Colorado and Pittsburgh, Tigers and Twins in a delay, and still 11 other games to discuss. Stick with us here in just a little bit. We'll have the prop master, Sean Koerner, joining us. He'll pop in, give us his favorite MLB player prop pick for today's slate. Thankfully, it wasn't one of the two games that's already started. You'll want to stay tuned for that because when Sean comes on and gives his pick, the line changes drastically the minute it comes out of his mouth. So be ready for that. We have a lot of games to get to. Still some afternoon games coming up. Mets, Giants, Dodgers, Nationals, Brewers, Padres, A's, Mariners, and then we get into the night slate. As always, when we are on YouTube, we encourage you to get in the chat. Please drop a question, a comment, a concern. Please, we would appreciate it. Also, we've got a contest. At this point, if you've joined us on a regular basis here on Payoff Pitch on YouTube, you know the drill. Before we get started, in the chat, simply choose one player that is going to hit a home run today. And the first person to correctly guess a player that homers will win $50, courtesy of the Action Network. Last week, we did have a winner on Giancarlo Stanton. He had a home run. Only one guess per person, please. So don't drop in like 50 names. You only get one player. So very, very careful when you make your selection. We'll get back to this later in the show as a reminder for those of you that miss out here at the beginning. We will start the show with best bets, and then we'll get to Sean Koerner. So, Sean Zerillo, get us started, please. Best bet for today's slate, May 25th.
Going to take the Red Sox on the money line, sitting around plus 150. Right now at Win, I like that down to plus 133. Now, typically when I show an edge of around 4%, 5% on a full game money line, I also show it on the first five money line too. But I am bypassing the first five money line, and I don't show an edge there. I see about a 5% gap between these two halves. I've been betting against Rich Hill pretty consistently, but the Red Sox have figured out a different way to use him. Let him turn over the lineup twice and then bring in Tanner Houck behind him. And Houck is a significantly better pitcher than Hill, but also I think when you get that soft tossing lefty going against the velocity throwing righty like Houck, who also is a very good slider, he's kind of like a right-handed Chris Sale. It is two completely different looks for an offense to face, and that can kind of kill your platoon advantage, too, if you try to load up on righty bats against Hill as well. So I think once Houck comes into this game, even if the Red Sox are behind, he should tighten things up. I believe Hill fell behind 4-0 in his last start against the Mariners, and then Houck came in, shut everything down, and the Red Sox won 12-6. So Red Sox down to about plus 133 over the full game. Could probably also jump in on a live play, too, if it's tied or if the Red Sox are down by the time Houck enters.
Okay, Red Sox have won 5 in a row. They're starting to streak here. Anthony Dabbundo, your best bet for today's slate of games.
I am going with the Philadelphia Phillies and the Atlanta Braves over 9 runs at even money. It's really a bet against the two starting pitchers. We've seen Charlie Morton has found a little bit more of his stuff in his last couple of starts. But if you look at his stuff plus rating from Eno Sarris, the Athletic, all the way down to 109, he's typically around 120. So we're seeing a significant drop-off in the curveball. He's not getting as many swings and misses with his best secondary pitch. And when he's not missing bats with the curveball, he has a hard time getting outs, and he's run a lot of long counts. Also, Philadelphia Ranger Suarez, he's seen a drop-off in his stuff. He's missing way fewer bats this year, and he's had some command issues that he really cleaned up last year. Suarez was kind of a hybrid AAA Major League long reliever for most of his first couple of years, really broke into the bigs because of his plus command and missing bats, and he hasn't been missing as many bats or commanding as well. So I'm a little concerned about him. And just as a side note, with these two offenses, Atlanta and Philadelphia, if you go by clutch hitting metrics, they are the two worst clutch hitting offenses in all of baseball this season based on Fangraphs' win probability added. And so that's a pretty noisy indicator that I do expect some positive regression for both of these offenses with stuff like runners in scoring position. So I'm going to take the over here at 9. It did get steamed up a little bit, so I wouldn't lay more than minus 105, 110. But we have seen this come up from 8.5 to 9 in the last hour or so across the board.
Some trends that are backing your pick. Philly's last 5 road games, over is hit, and the over is hit in Atlanta's last 5 home games. So those merge and maybe make for a day for a lot of runs between the Phillies and Braves. Let's move to our friend Sean Koerner. He's going to join the show now. We didn't want to bury the lead. Sean joins us with his top MLB player prop of the day. As we mentioned, the minute this pick comes out, Sean, the line will move. Sean, again, he joins us as one of the best in the biz when it comes to his player props. Routinely, when he puts it out, the market will react to it. So a special opportunity for those of you tuned in to get involved here. So, Sean, with all that being said, give it to us, please.
Yeah, so the prop I love today is Christian Javier under 5.5 strikeouts. You can get it minus 130 at most books right now. But, Javier, he goes back and forth between starting and coming out of the bullpen. And over his career, his K rate is 34% as a relief pitcher and just 27% as a starter. So this is something we have to factor in whenever he makes a start when it comes to his K prop. But he has a very tough matchup today against the Guardians when it comes to his K prop anyway. Javier doesn't throw many strikes. His 35% zone rate ranks 5th lowest out of 147 pitchers this year. And his first pitch strike rate of 46% ranks dead last. So the Guardians, they rank bottom 10 in swing rate. They're going to make him work tonight and get ahead in the count and, put him in a situation where he's going to be pitching to contact a little bit more. The Guardians have the lowest swing strike rate in the league. They're already tough to strike out as is. And to make matters even worse tonight, Javier's main out pitch is his devastating slider. It's really, really good. However, the Guardians have been crushing sliders this year. They rank first in the league against sliders, and by a wide margin, I might add. So this is a tough matchup for Javier to get over 6 strikeouts. I actually have him staying under 5.5 around 61% of the time. So love it at minus 130 right now.
Okay, very good. Coming off a start where he did strike out 9, but then in the mid number 5, 4, the last couple of starts here in the month of May. Either of you guys have a quick react to that before we let Sean go?
I'm on the Astros first 5 money line, so that definitely gives me a bit of a concern about my bet. Javier has been sharp, though, and I certainly trust Sean's projections. I'm going to get to another prop that he projected on some value on in a bit, another strikeout total.
We've seen Cleveland give a lot of trouble to a lot of good pitchers who rely heavily on getting strikeouts to get outs this year. And so I think they definitely work a lot of deep counts. And I think that's the biggest thing here. They don't swing at balls.
Everybody's feeding off of Stephen Kwan. They're all just gaining his mentality for not whiffing at pitches and not swinging at pitches outside the zone.
And hopefully Framil Reyes gets a day off today. That would help us out too.
Okay, very good. Again, under in every start, this number 5.5, except last time out against Texas. Sean Koerner, great work as always. We appreciate you stopping by. Best of luck. We're hoping for better this week as Sean takes off. I was going to mention Jordan Montgomery, but he did the right thing and ran away fast. Thank you to Sean. Sean Zerillo, you did mention it. You teased it a second ago. You've got a player prop that kind of goes the same direction, but a different pitcher.
Yeah, so Koerner projects out strikeout props for all these pitchers. You can find them on Action Labs, find all of his prop projections in the Action Network app. One that stood out to me today was Ranger Suarez. He projected him at 5.6 strikeouts. Now, I know Anthony just mentioned on Suarez's stuff taking a bit of a dip this year. 2 of his past 3 starts, though, his strikeout or swinging strike rate is actually similar to where he was last year. He was at 11.2% last year, down to 8.2% this year. But he's been over 11% in 2 of his last 3 starts. I think he's finally rounding into form. And against left-handed pitching, there's only one team worse than the Braves at striking out this year. That would be the Marlins. The Braves are at 29th in strikeout rate against left-handed pitching. Using how I would project strikeout totals, I would put Suarez closer to 4.8, 4.9, but Koerner has him all the way up at 5.6. So I bet the over 4.5 here at minus 105. I think the juice has come up since. I probably like it up to 5 at even money.
How about you, Anthony? What do you got for us as far as a player prop that you're on today?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Aaron Ashby of the Milwaukee Brewers. I think he's a guy, the usage is always a big question mark with Ashby because he's another guy who's been kind of a tweener in between the rotation and the bullpen as kind of a long or as a swingman in the middle of the innings. But over 3.5 at minus 140, another prop that Sean projected as value on the over. And I agree with him here. It's a good matchup for him because he throws a sinker slider combination that the Padres do not hit well. And the Padres lineup overall will strike out and will chase. And so I like that with Ashby, who has a 111 stuff plus, considerably well above league average. So I'm going to back Ashby here. Okay,
very good. Looking forward to it. Want to remind all of you again that we have a home run contest going today, like we always do here on Payoff Pitch when we come to you live on the Action Network YouTube channel. If you're just tuning in, we need you to tell us. You get to pick one player that's going to hit a home run. No, you cannot pick Koerner. He already homered today. The game already started. You can't do that. Anthony may have wanted to do that, but we didn't start on time today. But sorry, Anthony. And you wouldn't have won the $50 anyway. Those of you not named
I'm
Anthony
ineligible.
Dabbundo, yeah, you're ineligible. But it's worth reminding that none of us can win. But of games that have not started yet, if you pick, you get one pick, one player. Winner gets $50, courtesy of Action Network, to guess who hits a home run today. Don't spam the chat. You get one pick per user. So Alex is in the chat. Creed's in there. Ellie's already got a pick. Ellie wanted to pick Chrome, but unable to do so. JD Martinez the pick. So we're keeping an eye on that. We see you in the chat. Thanks so much. Get involved, and maybe we'll give you one more reminder as the show rolls on. Okay, so we talked about Sean Koerner and what he does for us on the player prop market. Over on the Action Network app, you can find all of that data. Get yourself a pro account. It's definitely worth it. Of course, we're biased, but there's really good stuff there. Great insight to get you set for the slate of games. So in the Action Network app, the public loves the Dodgers today. Dodgers are at -1.5 on the run line over the Nationals. Dodgers are getting 93% of the bets, 94% of the cash, and that's courtesy of the Action Network app. That's where we get that data from. How do we feel about this? We going to fade the public, Zerillo?
Yeah, of course we are. Who isn't betting the Dodgers today against the Nationals coming off of back-to-back blowout wins? Eric Fede, the definition of a low ceiling, low floor pitcher. We basically know what he is. He's never going to be better than about a 4.5 ERA guy in his career. Julio Urias has challenged for Cy Youngs in the past, won the regular season wins title. Now, his velocity was down a little bit earlier in the year. It has come back to where he was last year, roughly. He's back over 94 miles an hour in his starts. That said, I think the run line, the +1.5 for the Nationals, should actually be a bit lower. I projected it at +108. I wouldn't touch their money line unless it got up closer to +210. But at +110 on the run line, +1.5 runs for the Nationals, I would definitely take a poke at that. And I would certainly keep my money far away from the Dodgers. You were paying way, way, way more juice. The books have baked in extra juice into that line today, especially coming off of a pair of losses to the Nats.
I will add, when Sean Zerillo is on the side against the Dodgers, I feel good about it. See the Pirates last week. That was fun to see by the Pirates. Dabbundo, if you had to do it, you're going to fade the Dodgers?
I tried fading the Dodgers last night. I should have just taken the Nationals team total. Have not been a believer in Walker Buehler. Wrote about him last week. Lowest swinging strike rate of his career. Pretty concerning. Urias was trending that way too, but I think Sean has picked up on something, and he had a pretty impressive start against Philadelphia last weekend. Urias is trending back toward what we expect from Julio, kind of a low 3 ERA kind of guy. And I really don't want to bet Eric Fede against this lineup. So I'm going to pass here, but I agree with Sean entirely. You can't bet the Dodgers at this number. It's just you're paying crazy juice premium, and really they've been overvalued. I thought all 3 games of this series, but again, sometimes a +200 dog doesn't win the game, and that's just baseball.
If you would blindly bet the Yankees and the Dodgers in every game this year, $100 in every game, you would be up a few $100. Don't expect that to continue the rest of the way. At some point, these teams.
Well, the Yankees aren't going to play at 116 win pace all year. So.
Exactly. If anything, the Dodgers might, but yeah, not with the Yankees, not with the lineup that the Yankees are currently putting out either.
Well, and there's also this angle too, right? At the Dodgers play, this is not a national TV game, but we talked about this a little bit last week. When you get the Dodgers in the final game of an East Coast trip, I know the road trip continues. They go to Arizona. It's a getaway day. They've already won the first 2. So if you just play that narrative all together too, it does kind of convince you. Like, take a look at the Nationals today, for sure. But, we don't want to diss the public too much. So good luck to you. But these guys, if they had to do it, Sean Zerillo feels a little more confident. But
Edwin Rios hitting cleanup for the Dodgers today, by the way. This is more of a Sunday lineup. This is not their regular lineup.
Right. You got something there, Anthony, before we move on?
Yeah, no Mookie Betts in the lineup, which is also another. I mean, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball the last 2 weeks, so definitely hurts. But they do, Hanser Alberto starting against a righty. Pretty rare for Hanser to get looks against righties as well. So it definitely has a weaker lineup. No Will Smith, but Muncy hasn't been hitting. Chris Taylor hitting 5th, Justin Turner 3rd. So definitely a weaker lineup for the Dodgers. Another reason to avoid their run line.
Okay, by 4:04, I think Anthony's going to bet the Nationals. I think that's what we just found out.
You're just, if we keep talking about it, I am. That's the scary part.
I'm baiting you. Moving on to another team that's just, they just keep winning, and it's really annoying, in my opinion. No bias intended. The Yankees, walk-off home run from Jose Trevino to snap a 3-game losing streak. 3-game losing streak. That's it. Sean, you were on the Favorites pod this week talking with Simon Hunter about fading the Yankees. and how it could be profitable going forward. So today, what is your angle here on Yankees Orioles, or Matt Mitchell's Orioles?
Yeah, I bet the Orioles last night. This would have been my best bet. This is why you have to follow me in the Action Network app. Typically, my best bet for a slate is an overnight, and then the line moves. 2 nights ago, it was the Phillies. Bet their first 5 line at -120, closed -150. Today, it was the Orioles. Bet their lines last night at +180 for the full game, +170 for the first 5 innings. Those have dropped 30 cents respectively. I wouldn't touch the number where it is now. It's gone. Projected this around 40%. You're betting into a line that's saying they're going to win 40% of the time at this point. There's no value there. Betting it last night at a 35, 36% win probability, sure. There's absolutely value on that play. But I wouldn't touch it at this point. If anything, I'd bet the overs. I do like Tyler Wells quite a bit. Sub-4 expected ERA. Yankees going with a bit of a bullpen day today behind JP Sears, but no Aroldis Chapman, which may actually be to their benefit considering how he's been a bit wonky. But Michael King hit hard yesterday. There's definitely reasons, especially at the bottom of the Yankees lineup, no Jelly Gallo still in the COVID IL, that the Yankees are not the complete version of the team that they were as they put up this incredible record to start the season. They're a bit weaker of a version than that team that they are on paper. So definitely like the Orioles here, but you need +159 for the full game, +152 for the first 5 innings in order to jump in. Maybe it gets up there closer to game time, but unless you do, I would pass. But that is why I recommend to follow my price targets, not the plays that I bet.
Okay, that's good info. And Sean's very consistent on that. That's not just something he just came up with.
I hate repeating myself. I really do. But this is, if I'm going to repeat one point, it is that over and over. Don't tail the teams, tail the price targets. That's just straight up the minimal advice that I could give anybody if they're getting into betting. You're betting a percentage and you're expressing a percentage when you place your bet. So express that percentage to the number where you think the number should be. Don't go beyond it.
I'll never forget it. You said it opening day. And like I said, you've been consistent on that for a long time. Orioles are 7-1 against the spread over their last 8, Anthony Dabbundo. What's your target here? You like Zerillo overs or is there value lost now in this game to bet the Orioles?
Yeah, I fall in love with pitchers a little too much sometimes, and Tyler Wells is one of those pitchers for me. 108 pitching plus, according to Eno, so he's 11% above league average for starters. Very impressive stuff, and he's going to start striking out more guys too. I wouldn't hate a strikeout over prop on Wells today, especially given the weakness of the Yankees lineup. Some of those guys at the bottom, your Marwin Gonzalez, your Estevan Florials, those are guys who are going to strike out more than say a Josh Donaldson. And so that's one potential angle you could still probably get at with the Baltimore today. But I agree with Sean that the numbers come down way too much. I'm holding a lot of Wells fantasy stock as well. Definitely a good pitcher if you're into fantasy. Good streamer, but. Overall, I think I agree with Sean. The numbers come down too far now to +140 that you really can't bet the Orioles here. But, if you want to have some fun, go follow our podcast producer, Matt Mitchell, and just bet the Orioles reverse run line and then wait for them to hit a multiple run walk-off homer in the bottom of the 9th, 10th, or 11th. Also, Sean made a good point about the Yankees bullpen. Clark Schmidt pitched 2 innings last night. Chapman is down. Chad Green is now out. And King got hit hard last night. That's 4 of probably their 5 best arms in the bullpen. So there's definitely some concern with the high leverage guys. The Yankees are going to go behind Sears in this game.
I just think about how much money it takes in order to move the Orioles down 40 cents when 70% of the money is coming in on the Yankees. Those are all little chip shots, public bets, and then a big bet comes in over the top on the Orioles. So that is what drives the line down on a team like the Orioles against the Yankees. You need some massive sharp bets coming in.
What'd you say, Anthony?
I said it's because Sean bet them. They had to move the market down.
It is. Yeah, it was all my money, actually. I individually moved it 30 cents. I don't like to, brag about it. But.
Very good. That's good. That's good by Dabbundo there to mention that. Okay, before we go, again, we see your home run selections in the YouTube chat. They are being documented. So, again, if you want to get involved in the home run contest, you get 1 pick per YouTube user, and whoever correctly guesses someone to hit a home run first today on the slate, you win $50, courtesy of the Action Network. Be sure to download the Action Network app as we encourage during the show. Get one of those pro accounts. It's really useful to get the rest of these guys' picks for the rest of the day. Also, our other MLB analysts. Before we go, let's go around the diamond. 1 more pick from each of you, but give it to us in just a couple sentences or less. The time it takes to turn a double play. We'll go to Zerillo first, then Anthony Dabbundo.
Phillies in both halves, first 5 in game, like it down to +135. This line climbed up about 30 cents from where it was last night, and I think the Phillies are a value play now. I didn't think so last night. Charlie Morton is rounding into form, but like I said, Ranger Suarez is too. So I make these pitchers closer probably than the market indicates, and I'm willing to go against that big market movement.
All right, what do you got for us, Anthony?
I will go with the Reds and Cubs over 8.5 runs. Think Kyle Hendricks and Luis Castillo are better names than they are pitchers at this point. Castillo stuff plus down to 94 in his first couple of starts. Major concerns about the fact that he's not missing nearly as many bats right now, especially with that changeup. And Hendricks, traditionally overvalued, gets a matchup in a bad ballpark for a pitcher who likes to pitch to contact.
Okay, overs for the Cubs have been hitting, and overs at Cincinnati when they're home. They've been hitting lately as well. So I like it. Very good, gents.
Great American small park. It's a beautiful place.
Yep. No Camden Yards to worry about today, Zerillo. Everything's fine.
Thankfully.
Joey Votto to homer. There's my pick.
Ooh, you got one, Zerillo, before we go?
No, I can't think of one. Anthony, who didn't homer that you picked yesterday for Dinger Tuesdays? Because that's an automatic
red
win.
Hot, and he's the only Diamondback that didn't homer. So probably Christian Walker if they're playing today.
There we go. Christian Walker.
But they're off today though, so you have to pick somebody else. Jock Peterson. Mets are starting a lefty. Never mind. Let's see who else is good. Who did I pick yesterday that didn't homer? Incredible television here. Juan Soto against the Dodgers.
He doesn't love it.
It's lefty. That's not great, but.
And I specifically was thinking about somebody to bet against Rich Hill with, but he's going to be out of there 2 times through the lineup. So you're really going to get 2 cracks against Hill, and then you're going to get a righty coming in there. So yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to
so
just
Moncada off
Houck play matchups.
Okay, well, we'll figure this out.
How about Yohan Moncada against Tanner Houck?
Yeah,
4th inning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Very good. Great work, guys. For Sean Zerillo, Anthony Dabbundo, 2 of our very best at the Action Network covering Major League Baseball. Brendan Glasheen, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll keep an eye on that home run contest for you. Best of luck with your bets, and thanks for joining Payoff Pitch. We'll join you again next week. We'll see you.